Good evening. Welcome to WeatherGod's Wisdom. It is December 28th, and I know we're a little out of season for hurricane season, but we are in the middle of winter storm season, and we'll be starting severe weather season in about 3 months, so I thought I'd give you guys a little video regarding New Year's travel and how it will be impacted by this very massive system now that is stretching all the way from Mexico to Canada. This kind of pseudo-bomb cyclone that is now over the southern part of Nebraska and northern Kansas. And we're really watching this because of how close this system is to New Year's. And a lot of people will be traveling on the 30th and the 31st to their families' houses and, or maybe to the Northeast. A lot of people will be going to the Northeast and maybe cutting it close. And so we're going to look at a model run here. This is the NAM model run, North American model. It's a precipitation model, and it does pretty well in the winter. But we're kind of watching this right now. And you can see that this system is very complex as I go through the couple of runs here. You have kind of three systems that develop. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. And this system really is actually three separate systems that happen over the course of 84 hours. And you have System B and System C that are the main talking points here, as our System A, which is currently happening, is providing a lot of snow for the Dakotas and parts of Minnesota. Of course, Canada, they always get snow. They're used to it. And we have, this is the CIMSS model, and this is the model. This is the forecast of 30 hours. You can see our big system at 992 millibars is affecting northern Nebraska all the way up into Canada. And of course, the Dakotas and Minnesota are involved, and a lot of snowing. That's why there's winter storm warnings all up for these areas, and potentially blizzard warnings in some of these areas because of how strong the winds could get in the pockets of this storm. And then you have this kind of just massive rain now over the kind of Ohio River Valley stretching into the Mississippi River Valley. This is important because this will become our second system here. I'll advance this some. And you can see that our main system is still sitting over the middle part of the country in here. And then you have another system that's in the Ohio River Valley. It's rather messy. It's got a pretty big head right in here. And what this will end up becoming, if I advance it a little further, it's a large Great Lakes system that is very powerful, 984 millibars. And this is a pretty windy and wet system and a lot of snow in here. And what this ends up becoming is a very bad snowstorm for the Great Lakes region. And you can see that this stretches farther than what it should originally encompass, and that is because we have a third storm developing here in the mid-Atlantic, which will move up into the northeast and eventually become a kind of small nor'easter for the northern part of the coast. That doesn't include the NYC area, but does not exclude them from the impacts of the system. So we have this very nasty system that develops, and as I advance this a little further, you see that most of this does become snow, but in the meantime you have a lot of ice and wintry mix that is in here, and some freezing rain on in the New York and parts of Massachusetts. And what this ends up doing is causes a lot of problems in here because this is December 31st, and this is when a lot of people will be traveling. This is around 9 p.m. on December 30th, and what this ends up doing is kind of spreads itself out over the Midwest. Got continued blizzard conditions over the Midwest, and then you have a third system actually, developing south of NYC, and it's really broad system, but enough to kind of cause a little bit of a inversion here where you have lots of snow happening in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and you have freezing rain happening in the lower parts of these states. And as this carries on, you have it eventually convert into snow, but you have some areas that are still under the wintry mix. And actually, I'm going to go a little closer here and show you the northeast United States. And you still see some freezing rain happening here. And then this system, which is now 1001 millibar system, which is still pretty strong. You have a kind of a blizzard happening over in Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire. And what this ends up doing, it does thankfully get out, but in time for New Year's. But the thing is that models have been trending rather a little slower on some of these runs, and it's not much, but it's something. And we've kind of come to this conclusion that this should be out before the actual New Year's stuff happens. This is around 3 a.m. on January 1st. You can see that only a little bit of snow is left in these areas. But in the meantime, we expect that travel should probably be delayed at the very least across this portion of the country. And I'm just kind of watching this rather closely because a lot of people that I know are also traveling, and a lot of other people live in the Midwest too. And so this is kind of pertinent to me, and I want to get the information out to the people that I know. And yeah, but after this, I don't think we'll be having another storm for a little while that is of this importance or strength. Let's just kind of run through this. Oh yeah, we'll probably get another one, but could have a long-range severe threat in here, and I'll probably get back on to talk about that because I have nothing better to do. But yeah, so that's that for this evening. Stay safe out there. Had some severe weather out in southern Missouri, probably still going on. And yeah, I'm going to call it a night because it's 10 p.m. and I need to sleep. Not studying for anything now because it's break, thankfully. Anyway, have a good evening and stay safe.